Morning, everybody. I just brought my car to here in Ireland it's called NCT, which in England is MOT, which in German is TÜV, to the garage actually, because there are some few things that still need to be done because my car was failed. So, and it's a beautiful day here, as you can see. And so I thought I make another little video. A dear friend of mine who lives in Austria just called me and gave me the most beautiful feedback about how much she loved listening to my stories and how it really is a heart opener, and how she had been growing up always being functional and ambitious, and how she didn't learn to be playful, and that somehow listening to the stories connects her with her own playfulness and feeling alive and bringing more color into the world. And it's just so heartwarming to hear this, because that's what this is all about. Is kind of, there's more to life than just functioning, and I feel we live in a world that very much has become about numbers and how many people have viewed the podcast, statistics, or ratings, and being the best and competing and whatnot, and achieving, and but it's important to take some time out of the busyness and to connect with yourself again, with the heart, and that there's more to life. Sorry, that there's more to life. And I've been thinking about this a lot, because it's also, for me, it's about how do I actually share this with people without shouting too much, so that I don't like that usual marketing where it's just about shouting and who shouts the loudest, which reminds me of the Edinburgh Fringe, where I was with a show we had written ourselves. It was called How Desperate Can It Get, and we had a slot. And I remember how we were putting our posters up, and how 10 minutes later somebody else came and plastered their own poster over it. And that this was really very much about who shouts the loudest, who's the most exciting, who's the most interesting. And it seemed like you had to do crazy things, like that one guy years ago disguising himself as Osama bin Laden and getting into the Buckingham Palace into a party, and I'm just thinking, this is so much craziness, and it should be about really something else. It should be about touching people's hearts, and if you do that, there must be another way than shouting and screaming and competing with everyone. We need to get out of this competing things. Yes, and yesterday I watched with a friend of mine, It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I so much can recommend this film if you haven't watched it yet. It's about Mr. Rogers. Obviously I have not watched the show as a kid because I'm German, but we had something similar that he was called Peter Lustig, and he also, I think, had a similar quality to Mr. Rogers. But it just was so heartwarming to see how, and Tom Hanks, by the way, does do a brilliant job. I think it's one of his best roles, and he is brilliant anyway. But it was so much. He was so present with other people and so full of love and compassion. And I watched an interview with him afterwards where he was saying there's too much noise in the world and little silence. And I think that's, again, the same thing. We need to go inwards and find another place and go back into the realms of imagination and connect with our, I don't know, maybe own inner child. Or yes, just because we are adults doesn't mean that we can't be playful. And also I want to remind you that the best ideas and visions and whatnot come out of playfulness. So yes, that was I think that was all the things. Yes, there was another thing I wanted to share with you. That was like I'm sharing with other people at the moment, and I have a housemate. He's 26 years old. He's working himself to the ground. He's working 70 hours a week. That's what he told me. He kind of feels like he's not living life anymore. And he told me that in his childhood there was so little money that they already had to work, and he never wants to end up in this place. And my heart just goes so much out to him, and I would love to tell him, there is another way, and that there is another way to do this. And it's the same thing again, there's more to life than just running after goals, trying to prove to ourselves that we are worthy. And at the end of the day, we are worthy no matter what. No matter what we do, we are worthy first, and we don't have to prove our worth. Okay, I think that's all from me. I just want to encourage you, if you haven't done it yet, to listen to my stories. The link is in my bio, and also you can follow my Dreamy Cappuccino podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, and on Spotify. And please share with other people if you are inspired, or leave me a rating on Apple Podcasts or a comment. It's greatly appreciated. I really want to touch people's hearts and to inspire them. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.